Hi everyone, it's Lindsay with High Altitude Astrology, and I am bringing you the video of the new moon in Libra happening on October 16th, happening at 1:31 p.m. Mountain Time. And I want to first say happy Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. This is the second time I'm filming this video because the first time I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So there you go, Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is a time where these kinds of things can happen, and we have to have more patience in our communications and little technical glitches that might be occurring during this time. And that will complete on the 3rd of November. And actually, Mercury retrograde, Mercury in general, is going to play a part in this new moon chart because, like I said, Mercury retrograded just a couple of days ago on the 13th of November. And on the new moon, it's going to be at 11 degrees Scorpio. So what this is suggesting is that part of this new moon is going to be about the need to reflect, that's what retrograde energy is about, on our thinking, because that's Mercury. And reflecting in a very deep way, because that is Scorpio. Scorpio wants to reveal. Scorpio wants to uncover. Scorpio wants to dive deep into the psychology and the way things work from a psychological perspective. So we may be going through this new moon time with Mercury retrograde focused on our own thought processes and how perhaps the more shadowy elements of Scorpio, which are manipulation and control and power struggle, might be operating in the way that we think, and we may have an opportunity during this Mercury retrograde time, but also with the new moon in Libra, to be able to use that Mercury retrograde in Scorpio to understand more deeply about some of the ways that our own mind might be operating when it comes to specifically our relationships, because that's what the new moon in Libra is all about. So we've got the sun and the moon together in the sign of Libra, and Libra is about harmony and balance and diplomacy and tact. It wants fairness, it wants justice. So the new moon, when the sun and the moon are together, it's our solar light, our purpose, our identity, shining through this energy of wanting to find harmony and balance in the way that we relate. And the moon, which is our instinctive emotional response to the world, also in Libra, harmony, balance, and tact, and diplomacy, and justice and fairness. So there's something about this new moon time that's saying we are going to want to move out into the world with focus on this finding of harmony and balance in our relationships with others. And part of this process might be requiring us to look more deeply at ourselves with that Mercury in Scorpio retrograde and see what might be hidden there that might be subconsciously motivating and driving us in the way that we think, in the way that we communicate. And we can make adjustments with this new moon in order to create more harmony and balance in the world. Some interesting things are happening around this new moon time as well. We will have just had Mars and Aries opposing the sun and the moon. And Mars will have opposed the sun the same day that Mercury went retrograde on the 13th of October. But the moon will actually oppose Mars just prior to the new moon. And we've got Mars also retrograding in the sign of Aries. Mars in Aries is very comfortable. Mars in Aries is the warrior, is Mars is the god of war. So when we look at Mars in Aries, it's about self-assertion. But when we see it in the retrograde motion, again, there's a rethinking, a revisioning, a reviewing of how we are using our Mars in Aries nature. And with this new moon in Libra, finding harmony and balance, what this chart is suggesting is we might need to be adjusting how we're using our Mars energy. Are we using it enough? Are we standing up for ourselves? Or are we running roughshod and trying to just use brute force and neglecting the need to use our skills of grace and harmony and balance and tact? So when we have an opposition like we do with Mars to the sun and moon, any opposition is suggesting finding the balance. Oppositions are actually a Libra type of energy, because it has to do with the self versus the other in an opposition. Oppositions often play out in our relationships with the other. So this opposition is suggesting that we are reviewing how we use our Martian energy in our relationships with other people. And because the new moon is in Libra, it's suggesting that this is an opportunity. New moons are beginning times, seed planting times, where we can find the harmony and balance in our relationships with others, or in our way of relating with others. So if the Mars has become too much or not enough, this new moon time is a time to see how we can find the balance as we express our light, our solar light and our lunar nurturing emotional nature in relation to the Mars and Aries principle in our own lives. The other thing that's occurring just before this new moon is that the sun in Libra is squaring Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto in Capricorn is a part of this stellium of planets in Capricorn, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, that has been occurring all year. And Capricorn has to do with the structures, the effort, the work that we put into our own lives, but also the structures that hold society together, that have been going through this huge transformation. The positive aspects of Capricorn are qualities like accountability, self-discipline, hard work, organization, caution, ambition, and seriousness. And the more shadow elements of Capricorn are dominance, austerity, restrictiveness, inhibition, and control. So basically, this whole Capricorn archetype has been going through this huge transformation and growth process. But with Pluto in Capricorn being squared to the sun at this new moon time, what this is saying is that our light in this balanced, harmonious energy of Libra, and Pluto, death and transformation, looking deeply into things in relation to, again, personal authority, personal control, work, effort, structure. It's asking us really to see how we can perhaps look at those more shadowy qualities of Capricorn, of dominance, of restrictiveness, of an inhibition and control that might be playing themselves out in our own psychology, but also perhaps in our relationships with others, that might need to be transformed. That's what Pluto is all about. And how can we really come into our relationships with diplomacy, tact, grace, and allow those more shadowy elements of Capricorn to fall away and step more into personal authority and to qualities such as accountability, self-discipline, and hard work. So this is a theme of the new moon time. And it's again saying that personal transformation may be required of those more shadowy elements of the Capricorn nature, and then inviting in the more elevated aspects of Capricorn energy into the way that we go about trying to find fairness and justice and harmony and balance in our relationships with others. It's not going to come about through dominance or control. It's going to have to come about through having personal authority and having self-discipline. That's very much a Capricornian quality. So this is a theme of this new moon time as well. And the other thing that's happening just after the new moon is that the moon will be squaring Saturn. And that's going to happen just after the new moon, the evening of the new moon. The moon in Libra squared Saturn in Capricorn. So the moon in Libra squared Saturn in Capricorn. The moon is our emotions and our instinctive response to the world. And Saturn, again, inhibition, limitation, control. So it's kind of saying, like, we've got to grow up. We have to bring maturity into how we emotionally relate to others in a harmonious and balanced and tactful and diplomatic way. So we might be experiencing where we need to have more personal authority in our relationships with others. And on an emotional level, maybe where we need to grow up a bit, or maybe where we need to take responsibility, or maybe where we need to speak up a bit, because Libra is a air sign and it is about communication. If we've been holding back, or if we haven't been standing in our personal authority. And again, this also then can relate to where we might need to, after we've sort of seen how some of this more, shadowy energy of Pluto might be seeping into our expression of who we are, where then we might need to make some adjustments with the moon squared Saturn, and really kind of take more personal control and personal authority of how we do find the harmony and balance as we go out and relate to others in the world. New moon times, again, are seed planting times. They're beginning times. So this will be something to pay attention to over the next couple of weeks as the new moon begins to fill and becomes more full. These are some of the themes that we might be encountering in our relationships with others. And I wanted to end this reading with a reading from a tarot deck called the Alcharinga Tarot deck. And the card that I pulled when I asked for a message about this new moon chart was the card of rebirth. And I think it's very fitting because this is what Pluto energy is all about. It is about a rebirth, and really the new moon times is about new beginnings. So I see the energy of this card in both of those pieces of this chart. And what is written about rebirth is death from life and life from death. Nature uses loss to grow anew. When we experience a loss, trauma, or profound change, we pave the way for a new life or situation to emerge. Look for what can be turned from sorrow to fertilizer. What parts of your life are ripe for new growth? However, new life only comes if we're able to let go of the old. This is the beginning of cultivating a new you. Let your past be the fertilizer to nourish and cultivate your new self within. Your harvest will be your own personal evolution and growth. It will take work, but it's worth the reward. This card indicates the end of a cycle and the start of a new one. I think that's a really fitting card for this chart, because this chart is suggesting, because Pluto is involved, that there is definitely a death and transformation and a renewal that needs to occur, especially of any old relating to Capricorn energy in our lives. Capricorn can deal with, again, structures in our own lives. It deals with the archetype of the patriarchy, of feeling like we're being controlled by others, and structures that have defined really the structures that we live in society. And so this is saying with the Sun in Libra that it's really about a transformation of those structures that has to happen in order for us to find harmony and balance. And the importance of, you know, balancing harmony and tact and diplomacy in this process of the transformation of the old, in the letting go. You know, Pluto is about letting go. Pluto does like to have control, but kind of the ultimate lesson of Pluto is that when we release and we let go of control, that's actually when the transformation can occur, and then we can find, like it described, fertile ground for new growth to occur. So I hope this is a very enlightening new moon for you, and that you take the time. It's always a good time at new moon times to just sit for a moment and invite the new moon energy to manifest in our own lives, and to honor and recognize that we are a part of these larger manifestations in the world. The term is as above, so below, and that, you know, we are all connected to these wheel upon wheel of passages of time reflected in the planets, and that new moons are a beautiful time to set intentions about whatever the theme of the new moon is about. And so it is a good time to take a moment to sit and to reflect and to invite the energy of the new moon into your life. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you like them, please subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one. Take care.